everybody for watching this. Hopefully you got a chance to catch or you will catch, depending on when you're watching this, the Facebook Live I'm going to do about more on the eclipse side of things. But just a real quick synopsis on the latest forecast trends here. Still looks pretty good. This front moving in on Thursday will clear the way, but we got this one little low. We were talking about the GFS was hinting to this low moving in, making the pattern fairly progressive. The euro kind of trended toward the idea of the GFS to an extent, and so did the Canadian. But they both split hairs on their ideas. In other words, the foreign models agreed on the GFS that there will be a low pressure, a weakening one moving through the Ohio Valley. But now it looks like it's going to be over the weekend, and now the GFS is leaning toward the idea of the foreign models that the high pressure will be in control of the weather, though, for the eclipse day itself, which is still good news for us, as long as all these things are spaced out right and timed out right. And so far, really good agreement today. Let's keep it that way. Now, here's the thing. Yeah, this is the higher res euro, and it is showing, those clouds over western Kentucky, right where I'm going to be at, Hopkinsville, and clear skies in Louisville. Here's the thing, though. It's going to be a summertime setup, guys. So this is going to be a deal where you're going to get likely a clear start to the day, and you'll get the cumulus clouds. Usually they begin to develop between 1 and 2 in the afternoon. And given how unstable it could be, there could be 1 or 2 that could grow into an isolated thunderstorm. So we've got to keep that small rain chance in. The question is, most of the eclipse is going to happen between 2 and 3 Eastern time or 1 and 2 Central time. The core of the eclipse will be. So how quickly are we going to see those cumulus clouds begin to develop, and how many of them will there be? Or play devil's advocate here, say there are thunderstorms to our west Sunday night, then the cirrus clouds are over us as we head into Monday in a spotty fashion. It will be pretty high up, but either way, I don't see anything that's going to block out the eclipse for a long period of time, and I don't see no widespread rain event. So overall, we're good. The other thing you got to worry about is the heat. It's going to be hot, 92 degrees. It's going to feel like the mid-90s down in Hopkinsville. I did increase the cloud coverage there just a bit more compared to Louisville, but still both areas about the same. And got to keep that 10% rain chance in for now, considering the amount of humidity and the heat in the area, until we get a better handle on this closer into time. Don't forget, you can get your glasses, 1 per person, at the Kentucky State Fair. Wave 3 News Day is coming up this Saturday at the South Wing. I think they open at 9. Is the South Wing? I'll have to look it up. I think it's 9 a.m. Get there early. We have several thousand, but they're going to go fast, guys. I'm telling you right now, they're not going to last long. So if you're trying to plan to get there, say, at noon, I doubt we would have him left at noon. So get there early. If you miss your opportunity, then we also do have a chance for you to come out and get some at our big event we're going to do on the day of. All right, this is going to be the partial eclipse here, not the totality in Louisville, but still an impressive show. And it's going to be the Big 4 lawn from 11 until 4. We're going to be live out there on our midday shows with our sky tracker, or our storm tracker will be out there. We're going to give away the glasses. The solar telescope is going to be there, hooked up to the storm tracker, so you can see the image of the sun the way it looks now above our heads in Louisville at that point. And big thanks to our partners, E11 and Alpha Media and the Waterfront Development, for really helping us out with this. And we'll be breaking into television live at 2 o'clock so that we can show you what's going on in Hopkinsville if you want to also see what's happening down there in the path of totality itself. It's going to be a busy day, busy weekend, really, because I'm leaving in just a few days to head down there. Now, let's get to storm talk real quick on the severe side of things. Today, we're fine. Tomorrow, we're not outlooked. But I got a feeling that may change. I'll explain in a second. Right now, the marginal risk is way to our west. And as we head into Thursday, we do have that marginal risk fairly expected on the front itself, passing through the Ohio Valley. Let me start you off with the current setup. The cloud cover now beginning to sparse out. We had some fog as well. That's all kind of thinning out. Cloud ceilings are thin. In fact, I'm looking at the sky tri-camera now, and I'm seeing blue sky. So we're going to heat up from here on out. So get ready for the return to the 90-degree weather today, especially in the city. So here's our break that we're going to see today that's moving in, and then here is the actual warm front that's going to be waiting for us back here for tomorrow, and that I think is the key. It'll just only re-insurge the humidity. I mean, we've got humid air now, but this, you can see how it arches up a little higher up. This warm front's going to allow for more of a surge of that, along with some wind energy to work with as well, and that's the reason why we need to watch the thunderstorm potential. Here is one of the model's ideas, the RPM. Warm front comes through, we get some scattering showers and thunderstorms. Now, this does not look to be a widespread issue. That's why right now we're going to keep the rain chance at about 40%. However, as these pass on through, they typically, when you have a warm front thunderstorm scenario, they're what we call elevated. In other words, the base of the clouds are fairly high up, so You usually get a lot of hail in those cases. You can get some heavy rain. In this case here, the humidity is already high before the front, which means the cloud bases may be a bit lower than what we normally would expect. And that, to me, is a bit concerning when I look at some of the soundings here, because here is I know this is a lot to look at, but this is the NAM 12K, the regular NAM, if you will, the sounding. For those of you that I know there's a lot of stuff, I can't explain everything on here, but for those of you that are familiar with it, you know what you're looking at. Here's the ground level. Up here's where the airplanes fly, basically. All right, what we're looking at is the wind profiles. Notice the winds are generally from the west all the way up in the atmosphere until you get the lower layers where we are. And they're about a slight southwest. So there's a bit of directional shear, not a lot, but a bit. At the same time, the actual shear in general is only coming in at roughly 20 knots, which is not overly impressive, guys. There's a lot of instability. The LIs are about -5 to -7, so yeah, it's unstable. So there's a lot of energy to work with. And this green line is your temperature, or your dew point line, and the red is the temperature line. And I can see that there's enough here for some damage and wind potential maybe, and also maybe some large hail. In fact, the analog's coming in with maybe some large hail. So the NAM itself is indicating a hail potential out of this. The NAM high res, the only thing here that's a little more of an issue is the very lower layer wind fields near the surface are a bit more south, almost southeast. And anytime you get a southeast wind at the ground level going to a west wind upward, then you're talking about some spinning of some of these thunderstorms, and that's why it even indicates a low-end tornado potential out of that. Again, this is not a big threat here, but to me, I see enough, and even look at the GFS, it does not have, in fact, it's a little more southwest, so it's not as much directional shear. The GFS is not, but it too indicates a hail threat. So if it's not hail, there will be a low-end tornado threat with isolated cells. So we'll see if an outlook comes out for it, but I just want to give you guys a heads up. Later on that night, the wind fields begin to ramp up from the southwest, the low-level jet, so we could have some thunderstorms on the radar, especially west of 65 for the morning rush. That will then determine how things play out as the day wears on, because we will see how much unstable of an atmosphere we can gather. Any heating, any sun we pick out will easily get us to 90 degrees, but that will depend on the sun. Then thunderstorms will then react to the wind fields we will have in the afternoon period, which are sufficient. They're not off the chart. In fact, when you look at the Schreff model, again, 40s, what I like to see in 40s, way up here, most of the ensembles here in the Schreff are coming in closer to about 25 to 30 knots, which is not excessive. But it's enough to produce some damaging winds and large hail, so we'll watch it. Now, in the earliest alerts, we got these yellows and oranges in the area. We're going to heat up, and notice the blues dropping back down as we close out August. So we're looking good here for Eclipse Day, but then as the heat continues to hold on, a strong cold front will move in around the 23rd, 24th of August and really drive our numbers down. And I think we may have a good stretch here of some 80s, maybe some lower 80s for the last week into the state fair. It's happened all summer, this pattern has. Looking ahead real quick, here's the CFS model. I'm not ready to give the fall forecast yet, or the winter forecast, of course, but I at least want to give you guys a taste of some of the stuff I'm looking at. Here's the CFS model for September. It's going for basically a cooler than average month for us, warmer elsewhere. Keep in mind, these are not hot and cold. These are compared to your average temperatures, will they be above or below, and of course, the deeper the colors in each direction, the more dramatic that difference will be. Keep in mind, our average temperatures in September are going to really drop off into the lower 80s and then eventually upper 70s. So cooler than normal for September. October, near or if not barely above normal. Still the heat to the west. And for November, it's going for a relatively warm November compared to normal, and then cooler weather to the west. Yeah, we'll see what happens.